Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We're about to start. Welcome all of you to this Monday evening at the Foreign Correspondent Club of Thailand. My name is Panu Wongchaum. I'm the senior correspondent with Reuters and also the former president of the FCCT. Well, we usually don't have a very hot topic on a Monday evening, but today is different, of course. We're less than a week away to what some would call the most consequential election in a generation in Thailand. And we're honored to be joined with us, to have His Excellency Kun Ittiporn Boonpracong, the chairman of the Election Commission, joining us this evening. I think I'm trying to be very casual about this evening, so I want to create a sort of a very casual atmosphere. I'm going to start by asking the chairman a few questions, and then we'll be followed by a range of Q&As from our audiences here. When I said that some people said this is the most consequential vote in a generation, it's also arguably one of the most scrutinized vote because of the various experiences that a lot of critics have said from 2019 election, that the poll then was problematic. And of course, with the Thai political atmosphere, the environment being what it is, still deeply polarized, there's of course a lot of scrutiny on essentially the work of the poll body, the Election Commission. And of course, on the back of yesterday advance voting, I'm sure there's a lot of questions from myself and from the audience as well to the overall outlook of this election. So, Mr. Chairman, I would like to start first by want to understand your perspective on this upcoming election. You yourself, this is now basically your second election as chairman of the Election Commission. How do you see this election played out, and what are some of the challenges and concerns from your perspective, sir? Thank you.
Thank you, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. To answer quickly, a lot of challenges, but we welcome challenges because challenges will make us always better. But allow me to say something. I'm trying to make sure that it will not reduce your appetite because some of you are eating. And if some of you are drinking, I hope that you will enjoy our discussion that would follow. Yes, it is my second election as a chairman of the Election Commission. But this is also the second time that I am here. I was here 14 years ago when I was a teenager doing the briefing on the issue of the temple of Pravihan. That was a long time ago. So it is good to be back to the place where I don't belong, but I like it. So there are so many challenges. If you look at the process of this election, I would rather say that it is 27 elections since we have the general elections since 2475 Buddhist era. For those who are familiar with the Christian era, I beg you to understand and have the 5, 3, 4 to minus the year that I would mention in the Buddhist era because I'm more familiar with that. The process of preparation going into the process of election started early this year. Our first challenge is the challenge on the way that we do the calculation for the what we call division of constituency. If you recall, in the month of March, we need to calculate 400 constituencies and for each province to have how many constituencies in their provinces. We use article or section 86 of the Constitution as a basis for our job. We calculate the number of the nationwide inhabitants to be a basis for calculating the number of constituency. That first challenge was challenged by a number of people because they said, if you look at the census comprises two types of inhabitants. The first inhabitants are Thai national, and it also includes the non-Thai national. The reason why we continue to calculate in the same manner the total number of inhabitants nationwide according to the census by the Ministry of Interior is because historically, in the past practice, we keep on doing that. But we don't want to say that what we have been doing is a correct one. But if you look at the letter of Section 86, there is no kind of differentiation about the number of inhabitants, whether or not it should be only Thai national or non-Thai national. So we keep doing the process of calculation of the division constituency on that basis until there is a kind of challenge from a number of sectors saying that that calculation on that basis is not correct. So we were obliged to send a case to the Constitutional Court to rule whether or not the basis for the calculation of the number of constituency should be done on the letter of Section 86, or it should be done in the spirit of what we should calculate. And of course, the Constitutional Court decided unanimously in the month of March that the calculation that the ECT should do should not be the same as we have done before. We should not include the number of the inhabitants who are not Thai national. That is the reason why we have to do the second division of constituency on the basis of the decision by the Constitutional Court, and that affects the number of constituency in 4 or 5 provinces nationwide. The first one, easier to remember for me, is Chiang Mai. Let's say Chiang Mai, if we do the calculation according to our practice in the past, Chiang Mai could have 10 or 11, but after the decision by the Constitutional Court, the number is reduced to 10. So this is the one thing that would affect what we did when it comes to calculation. And other 3 or 4 provinces that were affected by the decision of the court. But of course, when the Constitutional Court made that decision, our sector of the government agency has to comply, and we did comply. And we think it's good for us to be clear on the law, because if you look at Section 86, it used to be 84, but now it's 86. I'm sorry, I'm kidding. When you look at it, there is nothing saying that it has to be the number of inhabitants for the Thai national only. How could we interpret it to not include the other? There are reasons for calculating both Thai national and non-Thai national on various reasons. But of course, this is a settled matter. So in the future, we would not calculate the number of constituency on our understanding. We have to calculate the number of constituency on the basis of the decision of the Constitutional Court. And I hope in the future there would be a kind of amendment to this section to make it clear that the number of inhabitants include only the Thai national. Because whatever we do, the ECT we have to be mindful, we have to adhere to the principle of Section 3 of the Constitution. Well, if we look at Section 3, how the ECT works, this is a principle. If you are a lawyer, you would know that the first 4 or 5 sections of any law is very important. It's a guiding principle. It's not detail. It's not something that procedure is not. It's a guiding principle. Section 3 said the government, this and that, and the independent agency shall perform duties in accordance with what? Constitution, number 1. Written law, laws, written law too, and rule of law. Rule of law is something which is a kind of a conceptual. But if you know, if we all realize that rule of law is something dictates you to do everything on the basis of law or legal thinking, you would do that. This is a kind of a 10 commandment or 3 commandments for the ECT: Constitution, law, and then rule of law. Certain areas in the law, in the practice, we don't have specific laws and regulations. And if you don't have a specific law and regulation to guide you, what are the principles to guide you? That is the rule of law. Okay, that's the first challenge. Second challenge, when we do the division of election constituency, we encounter another challenge because once we announce the outcome of our deliberation on the division of constituency nationwide, there are 4 challenges. No, there's a complaint from for people. Let's use the word people, like John Lennon when he sing. Imagine people. I don't have to say that he's a candidate or anything. For people challenge us that the way that we did the constituency division is not in accordance with the law. So those are the candidates from Bangkok, from Sukhothai, Prachuap Khiri Khan, and therefore, one is missing, but therefore, I have to make it clear that this is a challenge that we face since the election in 2019. The other one is Konnakorn. 2019, I remember Christian era, so it's to your benefit. We were told that we do the constituency division on our own discretion, which is not correct. People mentioned gerrymandering. We said it's not correct. Well, it may be correct in some perspective, but we have to adhere to the provision of the law, because there is a specific provision of the law when it comes to the what you call division of constituency or not. It's Article 27 that we need to look at and comply when we do that. You look at paragraph 1, it says that each constituency should be adjoining, and the number of inhabitants in each constituency have to be closely apportioned in this regard. That's a general principle when it comes to division of constituency in paragraph 1. But if you don't achieve what you're trying to do, because each constituency has different characteristics, you have to undergo bracket number 1, and you have to undergo bracket number 2. So this is our guiding principle when we defend our decision on our selection or our choosing of the constituency. Of course, doing it on the basis of Article or Section 27, we have a challenge. The challenges were presented to the Supreme Administrative Court, and unfortunately for us, the court, in Thai we say lifted, the court reject the request on ground that the way we do the constituency division is duly in accordance with the law. So that is typically the second challenge. The third challenge is in the process of the election itself. I understand that you know very well that when it comes to election generation, we have kind of three parts of election. First, overseas election. Second, what we call early or advanced election, which is yesterday. And then election per se on the 14th, another 6 days to go. Of course, there is a kind of a mistake made. It's a challenge to try to first verify where that mistake comes from. Second, if it's a mistake, whether or not we can rectify it or make it in good order. So this is what we have encountered since overseas election. It starts from 24 April until 5th May. And there is a lot of complaint too. Okay? At least 4 or 5 as far as we have listed. And yesterday, there are a lot of complaints too about the advanced election. Of course, if you look at least from the website of the ECT, our Secretary General of the ECT is really busy trying to come up with the explanation, clarify all the issues that were raised and will be raised, and then there will be on the 14th. The big issue is how could we gain trust and confidence of the country as a whole and the people who are looking at us when we perform our duty. We will strive to do our best and we will listen to all of your concerns. The challenges will be more than this, but we are here, at least I am here to try to answer your question. Some of the question or some of the possible question that I received last week before I came here is what is the rationale for the ECT not to have a real-time report of the counting of the vote? What is the rationale for not doing that? I would say that there is no rationale for doing that because we didn't say that we will not do the real-time report on the counting of the vote. We never say that. People say that. We never say that. And we have said time and again, but we didn't say that. And today I still say that we didn't say that. So we will have a report close to real-time report on the 14th. The only difference is that in the past, in 2019, we call this process of reporting of the unofficial counting of the vote. Unofficial counting of the vote. We call it rapid report. It is really rapid, but it's not accurate because in 2019, we asked the chairman of the polling station to register the voting number at his polling station in the application rapid report. And that's where the mistake started. We have no one to verify whether the number he entered into the application is correct. 214 is 214, it's not 314, or it's not 114, it's not 1414. And when this information is shared in the system, people get confused. Why? Because if you put the number in the application incorrectly, people will ask, this polling station has only 800 voters. Why do you have 1,200 vote counting? It's a simple mistake. And we thought after lesson learned exercise in 62 that we would have a kind of a report of the counting of the vote on that day, but we would have to make sure that it is accurate. Number one, accurate. Secondly, timely. May not be real time, but timely. But in any case, it will be reported on the same night, on the same day. And when I say this, we have to be mindful what is the outcome of the counting of the vote and what is the outcome of the election. It's different thing. I'm going to show you section 120. You find it? Okay, so everything, the vote counting will be formal on the date of the election. Vote counting each polling station, because after 5 p.m., the committee at the polling station will start the process of counting the vote. They will open up the box and start pulling one by one, declaring valid boxes number 27, and the point will be put on the sheet until it is finished. When it is finished, the vote counting witnessed by anybody. And I'm glad that you said that this is the most scrutinized. I said the more the merrier, because we don't want to work against the public needs. So the more you came in, the better. At least we know the mistake we made, and at least it's open for the scrutiny for anyone. So just focus about the vote counting. I would say that officially, the vote counting for each constituency should come out and posted in front of the polling station by 7 p.m. Why by 7 p.m.? Because each polling station is designed for 800 voters. Whether or not it's 800 coming and vote, it doesn't matter, but counting 800 should be done by 2 hours. Okay, when the counting in front of everyone, or the witnesses, is done, the committee of the polling station has to put or post the outcome. This time would be outcome of the voting in this polling station for ballot number one. Number one means the vote for the constituency. Number one gets 6, number 2 gets 200, number 4, 5, 6, 7. They post it in front of the constituency. Everyone can see, everyone can take the picture, photo. And the other one will be the number of the vote cast for the party list. There will be to form for the formal counting vote in front of not the hotel, I'm sorry, in front of the, I know, I was about to say hotel, in front of the constituency. Then the rest is compiling, verifying whether each polling station is correct or not. As I said in the past, in 2019, we asked the chairman of the polling station to do the input on the vote counting result. But this time, we know that part of the reason where human error occurred many times, at least to us, in 2019 is the fact that the member of the polling station, factually speaking, they start working from 5 p.m. Wake up 5 a.m. I'm sorry. Thank you, sir. 5 a.m. I have to meet and then arrange the polling station. And when it comes to 8 p.m. until 5, they have to do the service. They have to focus. They have to follow the rules and regulations that we ask them to do as a representative of the ECT. They are a layman. They are not the official of the ECT. They are people willing and able to assist us at the polling station. So if you continue to work from 5 to, let's say, 7, concentration and many other things may worn you down. So we think the better way to do is after they finish their arduous task, posting the outcome of the counting officially at the polling station, what they should do when it comes to the report of the unofficial counting on that night should be taking a photo of the 2 forms and send to our team at a district level. They are fresh, they are ready. So they will, after receiving the outcome of the first polling station, they will just in the system and they will share it to the public. So this is real time or not, I don't know. But it will be verified to somebody. And we try hard to make this first verification of the vote after it is posted on the polling station to be for the public knowledge at 6:30 today as we speak. Oh no, not as we speak because they have done that. We have a kind of vote counting trial for all the 95,249 polling stations. Ask them to practice. If they receive incoming report of the vote counting at the polling station, how soon, how quickly they could do the service. And that was the first trial. There will be a second trial before we go to the 14th. The reason why we do this is because we don't want to have a kind of a quick reporting but misleading and confusing. So it may not be a kind of real-time in the sense, but it should be reliable enough. And thank God, no, thank Lord Buddha, thank anyone, thank everyone. We are not doing this on our own because on the 21st of March, we support, we encourage a group of reporters and a like-minded group to do the same thing, to do the vote counting. Okay, please be patient, it will be coming. So we will have a report on that night, okay? That's for sure. And we believe that we will try to have the unofficial counting of the vote for each constituency or 400 constituencies shared with the public by 10 or 11 at the latest. And there's a group from the NGOs, from the press that will do the same in conjunction with what we do. They may be quicker than us, about half an hour, 15 minutes, but we do it together, and we do it, we support each other. So that is the challenge for us. Well, if you recall, another challenge is the overseas election, because in 2019, there is a big headache, not to everyone, but it's a big headache for us, that the ballot papers from New Zealand was not counted because it came to the counting station later than the process of the counting on the election day. So this time we work with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs to make sure that for the ballot papers that was casted, that were voted in the overseas election would be sent to Thailand soon enough and will be counted on the date of the election on the 14th too. We are quite confident that that mistake will not be repeated. The New Zealand mistake will not be repeated. We are quite confident. We keep our finger crossed because sometimes you cannot expect the unexpectable. But what we are trying to do is to try to make sure that we will try to do it better. And of course, experiences for this time has shown us that we made a mistake again. But at least what I could say to you now is perhaps the individual or human mistake is not a systematic error or systematic fraud or anything like that. We are guided by Section 3 of the Constitution.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I noticed a lot of esteemed colleagues in the room, so I'll leave a lot of room for questions and answers. But I have two questions before we go to the Q&A. I guess one of the big thing that is being a lot discussed by reporters, local and international, is this idea of party dissolution. And I think early in March, we have news out of the Election Commission saying that there are a number of complaints against political parties that could lead to party dissolution. And this is something that's very serious because we're seeing this repeat in the last 2 decades in Thailand, where many political parties get dissolved and somehow the will of the people is twisted because of some technicality. Can you tell us a little bit about what's going on in this sense, in terms of party dissolution? Is there any real prospect of party dissolution coming up in this election and beyond?
Real prospect, no. To my knowledge, no, not for the time being. And the dissolution of political parties is a big issue for everyone, including the ECT. There are a lot of process to be undertaken before the ECT could go for the dissolution of political parties, unless until it is very, very clear that there is a violation in accordance with the law. I say it again, it has to be in accordance with the law. We could not do it arbitrarily. Arbitrarily? Yes, arbitrarily. You have to look at the section. The reason why I try to mention the relevant section is perhaps it's maybe useful for you to for your further study. Article 92 of the laws on political party saying that dissolution of political powers can take place only from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 incidents. I can say that for the time being, nobody has submitted any request for the dissolution of political party. Sometimes there's a news that the ECT would do this and that. But if you ask the ECT, would say that, no, that's not true. That's not true. That's not true. And again, dissolution of political party is a big issue. And I don't think anyone can do it without accountability, without scrutiny. First and foremost, I would like to underline that what we, the ECT, try to do is to make sure that our holding of the election and relevant issue when it comes to election has to be done in the free, fair, and in accordance with the law. And if the law doesn't say anything specifically, don't forget Section 2, Section 3, rule of law. It has to be fair.
The question, one more question before I go to the floor, is that apart from being the most scrutinized and the most consequential votes, I also heard from many sources in the political system at various levels that this is also one of the most expensive elections, that a lot of corruption, a lot of money, a lot of vote buying are taking place. What's your view on this particular issue, and how do you tackle this age-old challenge, in Thai politics, money politics?
The most expensive, I'm happy that you qualify that vote buying, because for the cost of organizing the elections, the cost is almost the same. The cost for the ECT, the cost that you mentioned is under the table cost. Okay, let's talk about the budget or the expenses that the ECT got for preparation or the conduct of this election. The budget we receive upon our request is not too much different from the budget we received in 2019. We have a lot more, a little bit more, I'm sorry, because this time we have 2 ballot papers. So preparation in connection with preparing everything, ballot papers, and the increase of constituency from 350 to 400 is the other thing that make the cost a little bit higher. And the fact of the 2 ballots paper require us to have more committee members at the polling station. In 2019, we have 5 members per polling station, but this time we will have 9 because of the two ballot papers. Okay, that is the general introduction on the issue of the most expensive.
I mean, what I meant was for the political parties, like how do you tackle?
Well, we tackle it in the traditional way. Firstly, conventional way. Secondly, I don't know what is the difference between traditional and conventional, but there is a. Do you think it's the same? I think it's a little bit different. The other thing is that we try to use soft power, like reminding people that, hey, according to the Constitution, according to the organic law on the ECT, we have a duty to urge you to be part of the scrutinizing factor when it comes to election. So please come out and look at the way we work as the agency who organized the meeting, the election. Firstly, look at the way the other people behave, whether or not they act in accordance with the law on elections and political party or not. We try to use the people power to be part of our traditional, conventional way. In the current law on the ECT, we were empowered to appoint what we call the ombudsman for the election. These people, we have appointed 453 to oversee the conduct of the election officers during the days and the conduct of other, be it candidates or whosoever, whether or not they have trying or to violate the law or not. This works, but not fully well. The best way to work and to make sure that corruption has no place in the society is through the participation of people. What the law empowers to assist people in this regard is the fact that first time in the history of the election body, we were empowered to provide a reward to whoever shared us information about the vote buying. And the amount of money is quite high. If information we receive from anyone, Good Samaritan put it this way, if the court decided to our favor, he or she is entitled to receive 1 million baht. So you look at this number, it's just not a kind of a good number, but I would say that this is part of the encouragement or the support for the people to be part of the election scrutiny. The ECT has 6 members. I myself is one of them, and we have 2,000 official stations nationwide. And when we have to organize the election for 52 million people in one day, we cannot do it ourselves. We need to we need to seek support from the other party, and we want to seek support from the people. People power always important. The more they get to know their role, the more they get involved in the process, the more the voting, the outcome will be to the will of the people.
Many thanks, Mr. Chairman. I will go to the floor now for Q&A, and I think there's many reporters in the room. You know the rule, short introduction, your name, your affiliates, and also strictly question, please, no long-winded statement. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Saksit Sayasombat. I'm the Thailand correspondent for CNA. Chairman, thank you very much for taking your time and explaining crucial detail, especially about what's going to happen after the polls closed, after 5 p.m. and the vote counting. Especially, when we can expect them at 10 or 11 p.m. But I would like to take it a little bit further as a technical question, because I'm pretty sure a lot of colleagues would also like to know that. How can we see them, these results? Are they going to be published on the website? Is it going to be an Excel sheet? Is it going to be a PDF, a JPEG of a PDF? So I would like to know, how can we see them? Is it also open to the general public, where they can finally see the preliminary, unofficial results of that count in that evening? Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I hope you understand. I hope I answer all your questions. If I fail to do, please repeat the answer that I have not answered, the question that I have not answered again. Firstly, I would say, and I would try to repeat, that the official counting of the vote will be posted in front of each polling station for everyone to see around 7 p.m. And I would say that it is an official counting of the vote. So may everyone who present themselves there as a witness or as a person who would like to be part of the election can take a photo. Okay, so that's one is out. The second one is that the compilation of each of the vote counting of the polling station will be accumulated through time. And we hope that by 10 o'clock, or by 11 o'clock the same night, we will have the tally of the vote counting for each constituency. And officially, everyone will know who will win the election on that constituency. What's next? Perhaps it's part of your question.
The question is rather than, okay, once you have that tally, where can we see that?
Okay, the next thing is we, as an agency, we need to verify whether or not the official form of the vote counting in each constituency, in each polling station is correct. We need to look at the number of the ballot paper used, the number of the voters who turn up and vote. We have to check one by one. 95,249, that requires some time. Once we do it immediately after the unofficial counting of the vote is announced on that night, we at each province and in the headquarters, we need to make sure that what was posted on each polling station is correct. And we will compile them within 5 days, not more than 5 days. It doesn't have to be 5 days, not more than 5 days after the 14th. And we will share everything to the public in the website, on the website. But it doesn't mean that we do not share anything on the election day because you can see it at the polling station. The rest is the process of verification, whether it is correct or not, so that we could come up with the official counting of the election.
Right. So I understand you correctly that what we're seeing on Sunday evening is basically the results from the polling stations themselves, but not an accumulative results from all the polling stations together and calculating that. And you
Well,
won't, basically you won't say that
yeah.
how many seats will get how many seats.
Well, in fact, that is a system that we plan. But if any one of you would like to have the record, you could get in touch with us to have the record of the vote counting at each constituency. But as I said, we would accumulate everything and make it public 5 days after, not more than 5 days after the vote counting. But it didn't stop you or anyone to ask the ECT at the provincial level to supply you with a copy of this and that. It doesn't stop you. It will not stop you. Transparency is very important. Once we put it on in front of the polling station, it's become the obvious fact. Nobody can get it away.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks.
Thank you, Marwan Mark of Nick Asia. Excellency, good to see you back at the FCCT, and thanks very much for your comprehensive presentation. You know, the weekend there was advanced voting, and your organization has come in for a lot of criticism about some of the mistakes and errors apparently committed by your agency. You know, this could lead to a discrepancy in the registered votes and the actual votes when these votes go back. My question is not about the discrepancy. Thailand has a very bad track record of legal issues being framed and organizations being brought down on technicalities. Could this event and discrepancy that happened on Sunday result in the cancellation of this election? Or are there technicalities that you fear could result in the cancellation of the election? Thank you.
Could it be possible? Well, everything is possible. Everything is possible. but you know, it depends on the very fact that we investigated, whether it's a fraud, whether it's a systematic fraud, whether it's a violation of the law. And if it's a violation of the law, would that kind of violation would lead to the announcement of the cancellation of the election? That is a process that needs to be looked at the fact and the law itself. At the moment, I don't see any issue would lead to that.
But it is a possibility.
The possibility depends on the fact and the law.
Thank
So
you.
I would not say for sure that there is a possibility, because what we're trying to do is to make sure that the holding of the election by us and our team leads to the free and fair and lawful elections. There would be minor, there would not say minor, I would say minor, there would be a mistake, there would be a kind of a thought that serious violation take place or took place, and that would lead to a kind of announcement of annulment of election. I don't think, and I don't see that it will lead to that. According to the information we talked today, because we have the overseas election, that's part of election. As I said, 24th April to 5th May, we have the advanced election yesterday. So whether or not it will lead to that information I have now, I would say it will not lead to that. I may not be right, I may be wrong. You listen to Billy Joe song, you may be right.
It's a fair answer. Please, next.
My name is Phil Robertson. I'm the Deputy Asia Director for Human Rights Watch. And issues of disability and disability access are very important to us. This weekend on Sunday, I was actually in Mahasarakam province, in the Ampua Mueang, the Mahasarakam City District. And my 80-year-old mother-in-law, who's disabled, went to vote in advance voting. And there was no handicap access at that facility in the Ampua Mueang district of Mahasarakam. She actually had to be helped by my wife and her sisters to be able to finally step up and finally get up to the area to vote. So I'd like to know what the Election Commission of Thailand response is to that issue of disability access, and what you're going to do to deal with problems that occurred during the advance voting and make sure they don't happen next Sunday on the 14th.
Yes, thank you very much. Thank you very much for the question. This issue is a very important issue, and it's close to my heart. When I say it's close to my heart, it is because when I dealt with the election in 2019, I was informed by my colleague at the ECT office that in 2019, we will organize the voting facility at the Center for Senior Citizen and Disability People. They don't have to go out. We will bring the polling station to the place where they stay. In 62 or in 2019, we succeeded very few. We succeeded in providing that facility to disability people and senior citizens at their residence. Only 10 places in 7 provinces. I'll tell you later why the number is low. This time, we are able to increase the number. I will not fantasize it, but we increase it to 26 facility. They don't have to go out. They stay in their place. We bring the polling station to them. How many? 26 places in 21 provinces. The number is up. But before this number is up, as I said, this issue is close to my heart. It's not because of the ECT policy, but it is stipulated in the law. The law says specifically that the ECT should pay attention and do their best in facilitating the senior citizen and the disability. Section 92. Section 92, if you have time, you look at it. And I remember this section since 2019, and that's why I try to work with the Ministry of Social Development and Human Security. We have been working on whether or not this ministry has the kind of center in all provinces in Thailand. If they do, we would we would ask them in cooperation with them to have our unit in their places, in every provinces, everywhere they have. The fact is that at the moment, there are only 26 centers of this kind in 21. Okay, so this is a number that is a fact. But I believe that this policy will not change. We will push for more facilities for the senior citizen. I work for senior citizen because why? I'm a senior citizen too. in the future, I may be in that center, and I want the ECT to facilitate me too. I'm one of them now, for disability people. And well, that is what we can do now. But again, for the disability or senior citizen, older people, if they wish to go to the polling station, we have a specific provision to say specifically that all parties at the polling station need to lend a hand to facilitate them. That may not be enough, but this is what we are doing for most of our senior citizens and disability people. And it's not only the ECT, it's the law that recognizes the importance of them going to vote. And they ask us to do our best to provide that kind of support. And we continue to do that. It's an important issue for the ECT, I guarantee. Yeah.
ขอถามเพิ่มเติมนะครับอะไรนะกกต.ก็เลยก็จะส่งเจ้าหน้าที่ไปแต่ละหน่วยที่เป็นที่คูหาในที่มีอย่างนั้นน่ะที่จะตรวจดูว่าก็เลยก็คนพิการเข้าไปได้ไหมได้เพราะว่าอันนั้นน่ะก็สำคัญได้ครับเพราะก็เลยปัญหาคือก็เลยก็เป็นคนที่พิการแล้วก็คนอายุมากนะครับเขาก็เลยก็ไม่อยากจะเป็นลำบากนะครับกับคนอื่นซึ่งก็อยากเข้าไปแต่ก็อยากใช้เสียงแต่ว่าก็เลยก็ถ้าก็เลยก็ถือว่าก็เลยไปได้ยากก็อาจจะไม่ได้ไปก็ได้ครับ
ครับขอบคุณครับผมดีใจมากที่ถามเป็นภาษาไทยนะผมตอบเป็นภาษาไทยง่ายกว่าเยอะเลยนะครับส่วนท่านที่ฟังภาษาอังกฤษท่านก็หาเพื่อนให้แปลเองแล้วกันนะฮะก็คือว่ามันมีอะไรมากกว่าที่ท่านถามนะครับเพราะว่าอย่างที่ผม as I said okay continue in English as I said the law again asks the ECT members and officers to facilitate, to assist the disability person and the older person. So they can accompany the disability people to the polling station, assist them in any way. That is one thing that we are doing. And when I said we have done more than that because according to our regulation, we specifically ask every ECT provincial representative, our representative, to make sure that when you decide, when you choose or when you designate the polling station, please make sure that that polling station would have the easy access for the older people and for the disability. You should not designate the polling station in the place where it requires you to walk 5-10 steps upstairs or on the second floor. You have to do it in the first floor with a kind of no stairs, and you have to have a kind of a ramp to facilitate the disability people and the older if they want to. Otherwise, you have to lift them up and help them, which is not a kind of service that we want to do. So this is the issue in process that we will always try to improve that. And the fact that I said that even though the number of the polling station for disability increased from 10 to 26, I'm not still happy. I have a kind of ongoing consultation with the Minister of Social Development and Human Security, how we could do better when it comes to elections to serve the needs of the older people and disability person. This issue won't go away until we're happy that everyone is happy.
Thank you. Please, sir.
Thank you very much. Your Excellency, first of all, thank you for your presentation and also for being here to answer our question. My name is Daniel. I'm the CEO and founder of Rapid Asia. We are not a newspaper, but a social research agency. I have done a fair bit of political polling in the past, not in Thailand, but in other countries. So elections is something that's, of my interest. I have a simple question and then a bit of a longer question, if I may. So the first question, I'd just like to know, what is the voter participation rate in Thailand? And how, can you tell us a little bit about how that has changed over time? So the participation rate, so out of all the registered voters, how many percentage actually go to the polls and vote? If you could share some statistics on that. And secondly, in terms of you told us about the election system in Thailand. Do you model that system on any particular country, or is it a unique system for Thailand? If you could elaborate a little bit on that.
May I answer your question first? And
Yes.
If I'm still confused with your first question, it's not your fault, it's my fault. The direct question is whether or not we model our election system on any country or not. As far as I have been in this position since 2561 or 2018, we always look at the best practices. I used to work in the MFA. I used to work in the multilateral posting. So the best way to learn from another is do the best practice. You look at it and you think whether or not it is applicable or suitable for your country. You could not aim too high or go too low, because everything is evolution and development. So for us, firstly, we have to look at the law that we have to observe. We have the general elections since 2475. How many years one could calculate? Since 2475 BE, Buddhist era, this is the 27th general election. We, the ECT, for the ECT, this will be the 7th or 6th or 7th election. The past election was done by the Ministry of Interior. So we have our kind of a practice, our law that govern the way that we have to hold our election according to our system. And we are the ECT, since it was born 25 years ago. We are guided by the Constitution of 2540 of the ECT, of the law on election representative and political parties of 2540, and then it developed or evolved from 40 to 2560, no 50, and then now 60. So everything we do, we have to observe the pattern of our election process. I, for one, will always look at the better way to bring into our election system. Look at the issue of servicing, or the issue of bringing new technology into the election system of Thailand. We look into the I-vote, e-vote. We look into whether it's possible to use it in Thailand. This is one of the examples that I will tell you. We look at the model, the Estonia model. Thank you very much for your attention. Estonia has a population of about 1 million. They use I-vote. Let me travel to another country, Finland, 1 million. They use ballot paper. Level of society infrastructure for the two countries, to me, are the same. But why one country use I-vote? Why the other country, neighboring country, use paper, ballot paper? We try to learn from that. My initial reaction to that particular study is that we may try to implement the idea or the method of Estonia into certain part of Thailand, Phuket, Chiang Mai, or whatever, whatnot. Or we may not try to do that because we are a country of 62 people. Our infrastructure, the whole country, is not equivalent, and the way people take part in the political participation may not be the same. So this is the way that we always keep on trying to see what is the best for Thailand. I myself tried very hard, but I was prevented by COVID. I tried to look at the regional practices, starting from ASEAN. What is the common identification when it comes to election? Because ASEAN is the single community. We try to learn from each other. If we can identify the best practices, it becomes a kind of a building block for selling or trying to assure people that this is the best way for a country in this region to develop the election system to serve the value of democracy the best they can. But you have to look at each country background too. So anything, anyway, any example from any country which is good, we adopt it. When I say adopt it, it's me, because in the ECT, you know that we are the commission. There are other 5 members who has various thinking. So this is the way we work. We have to convince each other that, okay, can we import the thinking of the election practice into Thailand? And then we have a big debate, and then we make a decision, and then we implement it. Okay, that perhaps answer your second question, but it's my apology. First question, please.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, the first question. So thank you very much for that answer. It's very interesting. The first question is your participation rate in elections in Thailand, and has that increased over time? Can you tell us a bit how it has developed and what you're doing to promote that people should go out and vote?
Okay, I got it now. I hope it's correct one. Thank you, sir. Can you sit here? So if I answer your question not fully, you can shout at me. No, it's okay. I'm just kidding. Well, you mean the turnout of the voting? Okay. There is a kind of projection by the ECT back in 62 or 2019 that we hope the participation of eligible voters would be at the level of 80%. We missed it last time. It was 74.67%. This time, we project the vote turnout the same way, 80. And we are very much encouraged by the trend that we are seeing, the eagerness, enthusiasm of our sector of society to be part of the election, not only to turn out and vote, but to come out and scrutinize the election process too. I think that's a very, very warm welcome for the ECT. So this time, well, I mean it. You don't believe it? I mean it. I say it again, I mean it. If you want me to say it again, I say it again too. But this time we project the turnout to be 80. And what could we do for the PR to encourage people to come? We do it traditional and conventional way. But tomorrow there is an event we call Big Day, where we will promote nationwide. Please, voter, come up and vote. The vote is important. It's a national agenda. One vote could move the party. Oh no, the what? The democracy forward. And don't forget that democracy belongs to you. Something like that. Okay. When we do the PR, some people listen, some people may not listen. It depends on us, how attractive we are. Sometimes we are not attractive enough. Okay, that's the one thing. And we have a kind of system as part of our work. We call it participation of people in the democracy process and the election process. We have a volunteer at the sub-district level. You know that in Thailand there are 7,500 tambon or sub-district. We have a kind of volunteer at each tambon, about 10 per tambon. And they have been doing a kind of PR to share information about election and how to live in the democracy in Thailand for more than 6 years, 7 years. So these volunteers have been trying to encourage people to come out and be part of the democracy, be part of the election. We have established a kind of project on the village, non-buying, vote-buying villages. We have more than 10,000 villages out of 70,000 villages in Thailand to at least raise awareness that good people, Thai citizens, should not be part of the bribery or the vote buying, and you should do your job when it comes to democracy and election. I said many times when people ask me what would I do if I wish I could, I said I hope that Thai people, every one of us in this room who are Thai, don't forget Article or Section 50 of the Constitution. It calls duty of all Thais. It has been the provision since the first Constitution of Thailand. And one of the duty in Section 50 of the Constitution is said, you have to go to the vote. You have to use your vote. And on the last part of that section, you said, you should not be part or support the corruption in all forms and character. Can we remind ourselves of what we could do as a normal citizen of Thailand? Well, this is a soft power, soft issue. But unless everyone keep reminding themselves that what we should try to do is what you should try to do, then perhaps it's better, but it may not come easy quickly.
My name is Chandani from Anpur, and we are very much to the excellency. You are here, even your busy schedules, and also the happy to see you in person after 2019 elections. Oh. And I have two questions to you, sir. First one is about that advance voting. Compared to the 2019 advance voting, we see that a number is decreasing. Any reason behind for the number decreasing, the registered advance voters? The second one is that about the Deep South. Are you anticipating any violence in the Deep South or any maybe precaution if that's so? Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. In fact, I'm happy to see you since 2019 too. The feeling is mutual, not only you but me too. I remember you exactly when we meet. The first question is the number. Kunbo, please show the number of everything from 62 or 2019 and now. The number is reducing. The number of reducing. For advanced voting, it used to be 2.6 million. Now it's 2.2. The other number is okay. Yeah. So this is a kind of decreasing number. It's a fact. And I will give you the reason, my understanding, not my reason. And you look at the number of candidates. Back in 2019, we have 10,000 plus candidates. But this time we have 4,900, something like that. Number is increasing. Wow. But does it mean that the public, the parties has less interest in the election? I would say no. We should not forget the fact that in 2019 is the first election after the military intervention. So with the new law, that time, Constitution of 2560, the ECT law 2560, the election of representative law in 2561, everyone has a hope. Everyone wants to be part of it. But now it doesn't mean that everyone loses hope, but everyone perhaps know what to do. So the number is not increasing, except the number of eligible voters from 51.4 million back in 2019. Now we have 52 plus, something like that. Oh, I don't think it's a kind of decreasing of interest. I think it's a realization of whether or not you should be part of the competition when it comes to election. That's the first question. If my answer is not satisfactory to you, you can raise it again in relevant to your first question. Second question about whether or not in the southernmost 3 provinces, if there is any kind of violence, I would say as a ECT, I don't know. But in the past election 2016, there is no specific or escalation of violence in the 3 provinces. So I may offer to say that it's not connected, it's not relevant, but it is not impossible, because I don't know. That's a matter that perhaps in relation to your being here in Thailand, if you have a chance to go to the southern part of Thailand, you may seek view from the authority who look into or responsible for the security in the south. But I, for one, I heard nothing about a worry or anything. We used to receive the request whether it's possible for the ECT to shorten the voting time from 8 to 3 instead of 8 to 5. And we look at it in our angle and look at it as an equal treatment of all the voters, including. So that's why we haven't changed our policy when it comes to voting time on the election day. It has to be 8 to 5 countrywide. We take into account the security in the southernmost, but we look at it from all angles, and that's why we maintain the same voting time. Thank you.
Any more questions?
If can I have question?
Oh, please, if you want.
You don't have question about the observers?
Okay.
International
observers. Will there be any in this election? There's been mixed reports.
I would like to say that for additional information, we, as in the past, always welcome the international observation, regional, international, national. And at each elections, we issue invitation for them to come if they wish to join what we call a visitor program for 5 days. Everyone has an equal treatment. You can come as big or you come as small. And we will organize the program according to your wish, if possible. because there is a kind of limitation on logistic too. And for this year, the visitor program will start on the 17th. We will receive you at the airport and facilitate you stay in Bangkok. And on the 12th, we will organize a briefing and dinner. I should not mention dinner because it's not relevant, but I have to mention it because I will be part of the dinner too. And on the 13th, we will take you to the place where there was a big distribution of the equipment for election and the ballot papers. If you want to see how it's done, we will arrange it for you. And on the election day, you have access to go wherever you want to go, whenever you want to go. But just let us know so that we can facilitate it. So this is the program that we always do, and you will always be welcome. So my colleague from ANFREL will know that very well too.
All right, well, thank you for that interjection and observation. If there's no other question, then I would like to extend my gratitude and thank you, Mr. Chairman, for coming to the Foreign Correspondent Club today. I know that there's a lot of work and still a lot of work ahead. A lot of work has been done, a lot of work still ahead for yourself and for your poll body. So, I mean, not just as a reporter, but as a Thai citizen, I hope that it will go well and that this election will hopefully will not be an out and will, you know, the result will reflect the will of the people. And on that note, I would like to thank everyone also for coming on a Monday evening to listen into this quite a technical talk, but of course with less than 7 days to go, I think it's of great interest to a lot of people. So on that note, I would like to also do a quick reminder that if you enjoy our program and not yet a member, please do apply to become our member. You can talk to our office and also join the club. Anyway, have a great evening, everyone, and thank you again.
Thank you ครับ ขอบคุณมากครับ ขอบคุณครับ ขอบคุณครับ